Okay, let's see if we get this going.
Yeah.
Because oh my god, I don't know what the hell went on. Maybe it's because I'm recording with Flash, but gave me an input-output error. If it does it again, I am going to have to download that application you told me.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Anyway,
I can record it now as well. So
no, well, but I also need. I mean, it's going to be a dual thing. We are going to put up in both of our channels, so
yeah.
we both need the sound. Anyway, and the thing is, I was telling you, one of us does the intro like, "Hello, how are you?" Blah blah blah, and here we have this other person, and then this other person, so whoever is not introducing, starts with his background and then asks the first one about his background. Then the first one speaks a little bit, comes back to the first one with why the podcast. So in that way, like I go, you go, I go, you go, but someone has to start, like saying welcome. So I don't care who it is. So
Okay. Well, I can try to start with the introduction. Um.
okay.
What are we going to call this thing? What was it? Cuban 8 for now, or
Yeah, and that's your idea, so
yeah?
it's you explaining it.
Well, we're gonna explain it in the second podcast, I guess, because people will be like, "What the fuck is a Cuban 8?"
All right. Then we'll explain it in the second part. So when you're ready,
That podcast. I'm just putting down a bullet point here from what I want to say in the introduction.
okay.
Um. Okay, I'll just give it a shot here, and then we'll go from there.
Alrighty.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cuban 8, the first War Thunder related podcast on the web. Joining me today is RAMJB.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm pretty
Hey,
good.
people. So, well, finally we are doing this. This was a project we have in mind for several weeks, but
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of been delayed a little bit, but finally it's going on. So, well, what's going to be this? Speak a little bit about this podcast.
Yeah, so basically, RAMJB had the idea of making a War Thunder related podcast where we talk about the hot topics of the week when it comes to the game, and we are also going to give our input on it and try to comment on it, how we think the game should develop and try to be constructive about us all. Before we're going to do that, however, of course, we're going to introduce ourselves, explain a little bit more about our background when it comes to flight simulators and so forth. I'm just going to start right here, I guess, explaining a little bit of what went on in my past on it. Uh, I basically flew a lot of IL-2 when I was younger. And for reasons that might sound very peculiar to some of you, I got into flight simulators quite late, even though I had a big interest in planes. And that is because, well, I wasn't really allowed to play any kind of war-related games. So my history is very, very short, and we're going to keep it at that because I know that RAMJB has a very, very long history about flight simulators. So how about you just tell us everything that went on in your past?
Well, if I have to speak about everything, we could be for days here. I actually started when I was very, very small, an 8-year-old kid. Back then, we had in home our first computer, and my parents thought it was a good idea to buy a game with planes for the kid. And the game with planes wasn't what they were thinking of, like the typical plane going from side to side and shooting things. It was an actual simulator, of course,
Wow.
limited to what was computers back then. And I mean, the manual even came with a Volke Diktat, all the golden rules of air combat. It was called
Nice.
Spitfire 40, and since then onwards, I got hooked into that. I couldn't understand a single thing at the beginning, of course, but I got interested. I started reading a lot about World War II, which was actually it was already an interest for me back then. And since then until now, I have flown almost and every simulator you can think of. I have tested or flown at any one or another time. So Yeah, that's kind of a big background, as you say. Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, I think you're making it very short there, actually.
The thing is that the more you get good at one simulator and you move on to the next one, you realize on the next one that you know nothing.
Mm.
Um, and if that happens when you have a background in simulators, try to think what happens when you are a total newcomer to the genre, which
Newcomer,
is
that's a very nice way of saying it.
yeah. Newbie. I mean, there's a lot of things about people calling other noobs, but I think that being a noob is not bad.
No, everybody
Um,
was like that at one point. I mean,
of course, no one is born with the knowledge of how to fly a plane.
exactly.
So I think that a good way to put up the information is YouTube. It's a very viable way for games as Battlefield 4, why it can't be for War Thunder. So yeah, the thing is that the more you try to explain to people, you also notice you are lacking in some places. It happens to me. I don't know if it happens to you,
Oh,
but
definitely, yeah.
while I'm doing, for instance, a fighter combat school video, I realize that there are some extremes of what I am explaining that I don't fully understand, and I learn as well. So you never stop learning, and that's the thing that got me hooked to this. I love learning. I love understanding why things work. So that's my background. And yeah, that's probably it. Most at least summed up in few minutes. Um,
Yeah, I remember talking to you and hearing way more titles there, but yeah, we have to cut this short on our background, I guess. Um,
yeah. So the next question everyone will be making right now is, well, okay, why are these guys doing this
exactly.
podcast?
Yeah, why?
What are we going to do here? So yeah, what are we going to do?
Well,
Let's see.
I guess we're good. Yeah, well, let's make it very simple. We're trying to be constructive. As I said before, we're trying to find a way of actually talking a little bit about how the game is progressing, what we are beginning to see. I mean, ground forces are upcoming very soon, and that's basically what we're trying to accomplish here. And as well as that, we want to engage with you, the audience. We actually plan to have a guest section. What is this section? Oh, this is my English here. I can't even say the word section in a very nice way. Guest section or guest part. Let's call it guest part. Um, we want basically, you hear us talking in this podcast. You hear what our ideas are and so on. And if you have any kind of input on those, if you have any kind of feedback, if you hear me saying something and you just can't see it in the game, you're like, well, maybe this is a good idea, but it's not going to work in War Thunder. Then why don't you just comment below and let us know what you actually feel about that certain topic? And we plan to of course we're going to read all these comments, but then we're also going to plan to invite one or two of you into the various podcasts and to talk with us, to explain your ideas, to express your opinions, and to give the to give the community a possibility to actually have a little bit of their say as well. Because if you go to the forums, you see so many ideas and so many. Well, you know what the forums are like, and we want to have a little bit of a more elevated discourse here, and
In a way,
hoping
yeah.
hoping to give a little bit of ground for very good ideas that might not necessarily or opinions that might not necessarily be something that we have personally, but something that we can see a merit in, and that certainly should get out there and should be discussed. And that is basically this guest section. So if you want to get involved in this podcast, if you have an idea of how to improve the game, just send us a message or comment below. And basically the comment section is only 500 comments or characters long, so it's a bit of a problem there. But yeah, just comment and let us know, and we are definitely looking forward to all the comments and ideas that hopefully converge on this little tiny space in on the internet. Then we are also
Yep.
going to talk about
Yeah, no,
hot topics and something.
one thing there.
Roger.
The guest section is for people to voice their opinion because, as you say, everyone deserves a voice.
Yeah,
And right now, the forums is not the place to put that
absolutely
voice
not.
because it's so full of trolls that even the best idea put up with the best of faith is going to be troll hard. It's going to be hated on. It's going to be receive a lot of flack it doesn't deserve. So even if I mean the guest section is not just for people to physically be into this podcast. We will invite people, but we will read the most interesting ideas. And as you say, comment sections probably won't be enough. So what I'm thinking we could do is to put weekly, one thread per podcast in the forums, and there people can share their opinions. Of course, there's going to be a lot of idiots around, but the serious ideas can be explained in detail rather than being just in 500 characters. I think it's also a little bit better because, well, I guess you know as well, comments get really complicated to read after a while
Yes.
because
Yeah.
there are so many. So probably in the threads in the forums, you will find the place there. And if someone has very good ideas and is very participative, and we see he's really constructive about it, and maybe ideas that are not our own. I mean, this is a podcast for everyone. This is not for just us to give our opinions,
Exactly.
which in case of Bismarck and I are pretty similar
Yeah.
in what regards to War Thunder. It's also to give voice to other opinions, to other game modes as well, because we think we don't like arcade battles, but why not having someone who can speak about arcade battles and what's the problems related with that, or full real battles, etc. So it's a place for everyone, and also for people who might be known. I mean, why not having the Mighty Eagles here, or having Sidestream here, or maybe if they want to, someone from Gayen
Yeah,
to
sure.
speak their opinion and to speak their thoughts. Because I think one of the big problems of Gayen is that they are doing a lot of stuff people don't understand. And maybe it makes sense for them, but they don't take the proper steps to make it to explain it to the
Yeah,
audience.
we don't
So
have any inside perspective, and that's probably the issue. That a lot of people like us, we don't really understand what they're doing.
what and why?
Yeah.
Because there might be a lot of very good reasons why a lot of stuff is not being done or being done, but they are not telling us. So in a way, if they can move on to a place where they will reach a big audience and explain themselves, can be good for them as well. So also we can have them on board. Why not? So it's kind of a very open section for everything, from just the most common of the gamers for up to the head of Gallin if he wants to come, of course.
Yeah,
So yeah,
everybody's
that.
invited. Everybody.
Uh, yeah. So what else are we going to do in the podcast?
The other section, hot topics of the week. What are hot topics of the week? Well, um, Ground Forces is upcoming. That would be a very good example. Something new to the game, new planes, new game modes, or not new game modes. Of course, we already have the free game modes. But for example, the alternate history events and so on. We're going to talk about those if they're new and if we feel that they're going to change the game up. Um, Other stuff. Well, we do have some other stuff planned as well. So RAMJB, why don't you explain a little bit about those as well?
Well, we are going to do this mostly about War Thunder, but that doesn't mean that we don't have other things on board. They are going to be, well, there are future simulators to be released soon. We can give our thoughts on that, about other games that we play. Some are related to War Thunder, just to keep it a little bit varied, and not just about War Thunder, and not about, well, I'm guessing the hot topic of the week is going to be which plane is the most broken this week. And which is the flavor of the most plane,
Yeah.
and why do we hate broken fighters?
Oh yes, especially those.
But But yeah, there's going to be a room for maybe news of the world, maybe, but always a very very small section about this. Maybe some things that might interest people, links, shout outs for whatever reason or
So,
for whoever has helped us, that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
different stuff as
Or
well.
if some wreck from some plane gets found in a Russian swamp, well, we'll just put it
Oh
up there.
yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that.
news related with aviation, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mostly going to be it. So yeah, that's what we are going to do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the plan basically. A weekly podcast, so to say.
So well, we will get started. Well, we are actually getting started here, but
Yep.
officially and with the design and the sections we have spoken about, will start happening from next week, and in a weekly basis, time
Exactly.
permitting, and Bismarck's
Yes.
roommate allowing.
Yes, yes, my roommate, Mr. Sheldon. I like him, but there are some things that, yeah.
Yeah, well.
But yeah,
So, well, that's it for this initial podcast. Let's call it podcast number 0. We
podcast
will
number
open a
0,
thread.
yes.
We will open a thread in the video section of the forums, of War Thunder forums. So, well, let
And
us know what you think.
well, there's one more thing to say, guys. If you have any feedback to this, how it's designed, this is our podcast 0. This is a test run. But if you have any kind of feedback, not related to the game, but to the actual podcast, please tell us. Whatever you think about it, just tell us.
It sucks.
Yeah, the comment section is gonna be, what the hell are these guys doing? I don't understand a word they're saying. Are they speaking English? I don't know what they're speaking, but they're not speaking English. And so,
Well, you're faking a very good German accent, but mine, people are thinking I'm from India, so go figure. So, well, that's it. That's going to be it, guys.
awesome.
Well, Bismarck, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Ram, for also being here.
So, see you guys
See ya.
on the first
Take care.
podcast.
Indeed.
Bye.
Bye bye.